Hello, and welcome to another edition of Coffee Talk with immigration attorney Brian D. Lerner. In this particular episode, I'd like to talk about a less well-known way of obtaining the green card. It is not through family, it is basically through employment, but it is what's known as a first preference employment petition. It's called EB-1, and it is known as multinational managers. Now, the multinational managers more or less does not have a visa waiting. It can be issued relatively quickly if done properly, and it results in an actual lawful permanent residency, the green card. It is not conditional like the EB-5, which is the investment for $1 million. It doesn't require the vast amount of investment that an EB-5 does, and it doesn't have as much regulation and problems as the EB-5 has. So the reason I'm bringing this up is a lot of times people think that the only way they're going to get the green card through investment or through some type of investment is with the EB-5 or investing the green card. Now, that certainly is an option, but there is the option of the Multinational Manager Visa, which again doesn't require $1 million investment or anywhere near that. Let me just tell you a little bit what the Multinational Manager Visa is. First of all, you have a business or you work for a business for at least a year in some type of executive or managerial capacity in your home country. And ultimately, that company owns, or you own, or a variety of different scenarios, but more or less there is a brand created inside the U.S. That you will transfer to in a managerial or supervisory or executive, much more executive or managerial capacity. And what happens now is you are a manager slash executive in two different countries, the U.S. and your home country. And this is known as the Multinational Manager Visa. It's really what it says. And in this regard, a very nice visa that is not used as often simply because either the attorney you go to is not real knowledgeable about multinational managers, or you're just thinking you need to plop $1 million into the U.S. So the first thing you have to do is you have to first determine and ask yourself if you have your own business. Okay, if you have your own business, whatever country, there's no problems if it's not in, for example, E2 visas. You have to be in a treaty country with the U.S. Doesn't matter. You could be in Korea, you could be in Iran, you could be in the UK, China, whatever. You first start with the assumption you have your own business. Now, if you've had your own business for a year, and again, you are basically not the one that's behind the cash register, but the one who's making the executive slash supervisory decisions, the one who is running the company, and you want to come to the U.S. not just for you, but for your spouse and for your unmarried children under 21, then you can open a branch office in the U.S., or you can buy one that's already in operation, or if you're already here on an L1 visa, because the intercompany transferee visa for the non-immigrants, while not as difficult to do as the multinational manager visa, it is the way that a lot of people come over here when they have two companies, or the owner of the company they work for has another company in the U.S. So if you're here on an L1, then you can apply at some later point, assuming you qualify, for the multinational manager visa. Now, the issue that I come with a lot is people say, well, I want my children to go and be educated in the U.S. I want them to go there, and how can I do that? Well, a lot of times the parents may not necessarily want to come to the U.S., but they want to have the ability to be able to come when they want and how they want. And again, assuming the children are under 21 and single, then it would mean that if you applied for the multinational manager visa, which once everything's filed takes give or take about a year, then the derivatives, or your children and your spouse, will be able to hop on board and also obtain lawful permanent residency. So the way that this would work is you make sure that you apply in sufficient time so that the children don't age out. Okay, and again, it does take time. Obviously, it takes time to put the petition together. And the normal path that I usually recommend is first go on the L and then do the multinational. But there are cases where, for example, the kids will age out and you can't wait to do the L. You just have to jump right in and do the multinational manager. So, of course, that has to be a really strong petition to get that done. But the one really nice thing about the multinational manager visa is, first of all, it's not conditional. Let's say we're talking about the EB-5 and you put $1 million in there, and let's say everything goes fine and it's approved. Well, what's approved is a conditional green card for 2 years. And then you have to make a whole nother application to remove the condition so that essentially you get the unrestricted green card or unrestricted residency. With the multinational manager visa, once you get it, that's it. No condition, no strings attached. You will get it, your kids will get it, and your wife will get it, and you're free to go at that point, on with your lives. Now, of course, you have to maintain for a reasonable period or for the foreseeable period the company upon which the multinational manager visa was based. And actually, it's two companies. You can't, realistically get the green card through the EB-1 multinational manager visa and then close up shop and go lie on the beach all day. You do have to keep the companies running. There's certain things that could happen, but in reality, once you get the green card, you're essentially home free at that point, and it is actually one of the best business type ways of getting residency that there is. Let's just compare. Let's say that you have a bachelor's degree and you're going to get an employer to petition you for the perm. Depending what country you're on, generally you're going to wait between 3 and 7 years for that visa number to become current. Then you're going to do the I-140 petition, which is going to take a year or so. Then you're going to do the adjustment of status, and it goes on for a long time. While you still have to do the adjustment of status with the multinational manager visa, you do not have to do a perm. The visa number is current throughout every country in the world as it stands right now, which is a big thing. Because when people apply for employment-based petitions, generally they don't want to wait several years for it to become current. What I mean by that is you could theoretically apply for some petition today, have it approved tomorrow, except you have to get in line and wait for the next 5 to 7 years for your turn to come up. Okay, that's essentially what that means. But with the multinational manager, it doesn't. So there's lots of different requirements, lots of little requirements to make it happen. But I would suggest, call me for a consultation if you want to see if you actually qualify. And then if you do think you qualify, if you have a business, if you have money to invest in a business in the U.S., or if you're working for a company that wants to invest in the U.S., then at least the groundwork is set and you might be able to move forward. So if you have a year working at the foreign company, or even if you don't, we can prepare it and submit it once you do have that year. Then give me a call, set up a consultation, and I'll be able to help. Remember, it's the EB-1 Multinational Manager Visa, probably the best employment-based way to get a green card that there is. Okay, more on the coming videos.